Hey guys, Star77 Productions back at you with another review video. Today's video we're going to be looking at an automatic Swiss movement watch by Tissot. And this one is the PRX Powermatic 80. And as usual, you can follow the link in the description to Amazon, purchase these products if you desire, and help our channel quite a bit. And we fully recommend all the products that we present on this channel. So this is kind of an entry-level automatic movement by a Swiss manufacturer, Tissot. They've been around since 1853. I would imagine you've seen them sponsoring things like the Tour de France and MotoGP. I think they also do the European Rugby Association and quite a few other sporting events as well. And they do make a great kind of entry-level Swiss automatic watch. And the cool thing about this one, and a lot of automatic watches these days, is that they do have a crystal on the back side. Hopefully you can get a good view of that there. Which I know we pay quite a bit of money for these mechanical automatic movements. It's so cool when you actually have a crystal window in the back to really appreciate the movement, you know, and see the intricacies and see the different mechanics that go in, you know, to making a watch like this. So with that back crystal, you know, you can see the automatic movement that spins around as you wear it, so you don't necessarily have to wind up the dial. And that'll store some kinetic energy for the watch. You can also see, you know, a couple of the jewels, I believe. You can see the balance wheel moving back and forth. And just a couple of the other wheels as well. Some brands are even making that automatic movement that spins around with a couple windows of its own, so you can really see the innards of the watch. This one doesn't quite do that, but it's still cool nonetheless. And again, this is the PRX Powermatic 80. This one is the 40mm case. I do believe they also make a 35. And the band is about 12mm, I believe. And it comes with this very cool butterfly clasp here that makes putting it on super easy. And it gives it kind of that clean look where you don't see that long metal clasp on the other side here. You know, kind of bridging out over here. Just connects it perfectly right there. And then you have your two clasp buttons here to open up that butterfly mechanism. Makes removing watch pieces super easy and getting it on and off super easy. And I have nothing but good things to say about this watch. It looks really sophisticated. It's got a nice little shine with that stainless steel. And that stainless steel is a 612L, I believe, pretty high quality stainless steel. And you know, it's not too shiny, but shines just enough to make it look pretty luxurious. And even the dial and the hands are really cool there. And it has a waffle cone feature inside underneath the dial that kind of gives it a little bit of ridge and, you know, distortion to that color. Depending on which way you're moving it, you might not be able to see that. But you have all black up here, and then you have a blue that kind of fades off into a purple as the light hits it at different angles, which I find to be a very cool feature. So yeah, if you're kind of looking at it at this angle, it's like a purple violet. As you tilt it up, it starts changing into blue. And then when you go back to, you know, this angle, it's almost all black. So those waffle cone, you know, type slight little bumps in the back really give that cool color changing effect. And then you can see the hands have slight little glow in the dark specs on them. That may be one of my cons of this watch, is that it's pretty hard to read those glow-in-the-dark marks at night. You can see them a little bit, but I wish they were a little bit more prominent. And then as far as the automatic movement and its storing power in the power reserve, you know, it claims 80 hours. That's why it's the PRX Powermatic 80. And, you know, I usually get anywhere from 60, maybe 72, 3 days worth. One of the main claims is that, you know, you can set it aside when you're done with work on a Friday, have it sitting there not doing much, and then pick it up Monday morning, and should still have the accurate time. Because as we all know, anybody who's had a Swiss movement or any sort of movement that is mechanical and automatic, it tends to have that power fade away, and then you're constantly having to reset it and reset the date as well. But this one does, you know, hold that power reserve for quite some time. You know, I don't quite get the 72 hours, 3 days, but I think that's because I don't really tend to wind it up too much. Maybe, you know, you're supposed to wind them up 30, maybe 40 turns a day if you're not wearing it much. And maybe if you gave it 20 or 30 turns before you set it aside, you know, you would get that claimed 80 hours of reserve power. But I do get pretty close to it, and it's really cool. This is one of the more longer lasting movements that you can get. And, you know, this watch is going to be under the $1,000 price point, which is very cool to have a Swiss made, you know, automatic mechanical movement that has such good intricacies and details like this, you know, and have it be, you know, anywhere from $650 to $750 depending on where you're purchasing it. And it comes with a 2-year warranty. And if you do get it at a jewelry store or, you know, a shop near you, a lot of places will add an additional year of a warranty or maintenance, you know, if you buy a plan. And you might even be able to get the extended warranty on Amazon as well, depending on if you want to pay that little additional extra. But for the price point and the fact that sometimes servicing watches like this is like $250, you know, anywhere from $150 to $250, you know, it might not be worth it at that point. They do recommend that you do get it maintenance every 3 to 4 years. You might be able to stretch that out to 5, depending. But, you know, with all the friction components in here and tiny little parts to the innards of the movement here, it does require the proper lubrication and the occasional maintenance. It has been a joy for me to own so far. It's a great little introduction into proper Swiss movements. You know, the crystal on the front is super flat and super durable. Makes it very easy to read the face here, especially with those contrasting colors in the back. I have never really had a hard time, you know, reading any of the dials on here at all. And even the date is pretty pronounced as well. And the crystal is very durable. I think I've given it a couple of good whacks and haven't even noticed a scratch. Maybe just a little bit of scratching on the stainless steel here that might be able to be buffered out. But still, a very, very good watch for a Swiss movement entry level, you know, under that $1,000 price point. It comes with a pretty cool Tissot box. Open that up with the pillow here. It'll come with that nice presentation. You get your little quick reference guide, user manual here about winding it up, what some of the warranty offers are, and then kind of a little storage compartment for extra pieces, getting it to fit your wrist perfectly. A reference number where you can log that on to their site, register that watch, and that's probably the best place to get the references and how to take care of the watch. and what other maintenance things that you need to do with it is on the website. It clears up a lot of that stuff. Really, that booklet just talks about the warranty and whatnot. And it is fairly water resistant. You know, they claim 10 bar. What is that, like 300 feet, 100 meters? You know, I definitely would not chance this, you know, doing that. Maybe some light swimming, maybe the showers, but I personally only like wash my hands with this thing on, and maybe just a little bit of light cooking. I wouldn't press your luck too much with that. The date feature is really cool. You know, as far as the crown is concerned, you just pull that out once and then you can adjust the date, you know, especially for those months that end with 30 days or even 28 days. And you need to click it ahead on the start of a new month. You know, you just pull it out once and wind it to the next day. Pull it out twice. That does actually have the hacking feature where it stops the timepiece. Allows you to get a really accurate setting with that second hand. And then push it back in and then do a little bit of winding. But if you're wearing it on a daily basis, the automatic movement is going to do that for you, and there's not much moving on the crown that you really need to do. And of course, it's an analog watch here with a nice crystal face. Seeing the movement in the back is super cool. It's really got a good bezel, and it's got a nice flat component here that helps kind of flash that light just a little bit and not make it too terribly shiny. And then you get a little bit more shininess in the band as well. And like I said, I do believe they have a 35 millimeter. They also have this in a quartz movement as well. You know, those are more precise. You're not nearly having to, you know, wind them up or set the time nearly as often as a mechanical automatic movement, so that's always an option, and it's quite a bit cheaper as well. But if you're really trying to get into a Swiss-made movement watch under that $1,000 price point, they can pretty much have everything you need. This is definitely the way to go for sure. So feel free to follow the link, ask me any questions in the comments that you might have. Let me check my notes, make sure I talked about everything. Yeah, the water resistance, the really good stainless steel, the size of the case, the fact that you can see the movement through the crystal in the back. The crystal in the front is super durable. Comes with the awesome butterfly clasp system that makes it super easy. And yeah, that is a really, really good Swiss watch by Tissot. Highly recommend. So feel free to like and subscribe, comment if need be, and thank you guys for watching.